Hey everyone, it's Kenlyn and welcome back to my channel. This is the Astro and Energy Report for this incredibly huge week, September 15th to the 22nd. On September 17th, we enter the full moon, and it's a partial lunar eclipse that is with a super full moon. So it has the potency of a full-on eclipse, the reboot mechanism of an eclipse. That takes us into a wormhole for 2 weeks until the solar eclipse in Libra 2 weeks later. And in less than a week, we hit the equinox. That's the sun moving into Libra at 0 degrees. That's a cardinal sign, a world axis sign. Here we are initiating something new. And we're initiating it through releasing of the old. The equinox is also the time of equal light and equal dark. So it's bringing in the codes to our embodiment of light and dark being in balance. I mean, we can totally use that right now because the world is massively reactive. We are reactive. And that's one of the things that we get to let go of inside of the cauldron of this wormhole. Now, a wormhole is that 2-week period between the eclipses where we receive a reboot. So when we ask ourselves, what's being eclipsed? What we're meaning is what is going into darkness and then like the light switch is turning on. That's the essence of the word guru, darkness into light. So a teacher takes you from darkness, from unconsciousness into light, but you are your inner teacher. So this eclipse is the cosmology, the signature of darkness into light. So let's think of it that way as we go into 4 archetypes that can support you during this eclipse and questions for your meditation. The first thing is the sun is in Virgo. So Virgo represents the earth plane, the healer, the medicine woman. I've talked about the virgin who is sovereign unto herself. She is a powerful maiden because she knows the truth of her beingness and she's connected to the earth element. So she's a medicine woman. So let me ask you, what medicine are you receiving in this eclipse season? You can write that down, answer it now, or let's move on to the Pisces full moon. That's the archetype of the mystic, because Pisces is the opposite of Virgo. It's the imaginal realm. It's the realm of non-causality, the realm of oneness from where we all came into particularity, which is the zodiac. I'm always doing counterclockwise, and I noticed in my recordings, it comes out a mirror image, but the zodiac is counterclockwise. And so those houses represent our life on planet Earth. We come in through Pisces from the primordial. So the mystic is actually asking you, can you trust that which you cannot see with your 3D eyes? So it's like being a panther in the night. Can you see with night vision? And can you make connections? Can you see the connections that on this plane maybe are not evident? But in that world, you can see beyond form. And then the question also is, how do you activate your 5D gifts to be in service of the collective at this time? What 5D gifts do you have? What mystical gifts do you have? Take a moment to write that down. Just write whatever comes to you. And then ask yourself, what is the essence of faith? We're being asked to walk deeply into the unknown. Like nobody knows where we're going to land on the other side. That's where we had the high priestess come in and support us a few weeks ago with this new moon. And she's here with us now, even because her lantern is this full moon. What does it mean to you to have faith? And then there's a third archetype, and this one is called the shapeshifter. And that's because we also have in the geometry mutable T-squares. We've talked about T-squares. We have this three ways that we are not allowed to bypass this information. It's calling for a change. Something is going to happen, but they're with mutable signs. So it's very ungrounded. It's a lot like the air right now, at least where I live in the Northern Hemisphere. We're moving into autumn and the air is turning more vata. It goes from fire of the summer to air, ether. You can feel it, like the mind is spinning. It's ungrounded. The mind is quintessentially ungrounded. It's the body that really can ground the mind. And in vata season, and that's also midlife and aging, we move into more of a vata season. We get thinner, we get bonier, we lose fat. That's the essence of the aging. And it's also highly creative, but it's changeable. So as we move into this mutable T-square, that's Sagittarius, Gemini, Virgo, and Pisces, we are being asked to change. And so where are you resisting change? Where are you alongside the change? What's your relationship to the change that's being asked of you right now? And this is a process. Virgo wants you to process it. It's not one and done. So this shapeshifter energy is allowing you to become a new person. We're not at the Phoenix rising yet, but we will get there. And this shape shifting is saying, look, your old identity, it's gone. It's over. So what have you been identifying with? What has been your shtick? What has been your story? If someone were to look at your text messages from 5 years ago and now, are they the same? Are you complaining about the same thing? Are you still that person? Well, maybe it's time to release that person and put energy and effort toward feeding something new. And that's what T-squares are going to do, because your life just isn't going to work in certain areas. And it's no reflection of you. It's not good or bad. It's just that the times are calling for new things to come forward from us, particularly evolutionary feminine leaders. We are on the forefront. We're pioneers in this because we have this information. And so we get to get alongside of it. We also have a dharma. We also have the capacity to cause and create transformation through our field. And so we have to also tend to our inner self. After all, we are human playing the game as well. So what will it take for you to accept change? That's what the shapeshifter is asking. And I was talking this morning with a friend who's in the middle of a lot of relationship breakdown. And the Virgo thing, the mind wants to go directly to the details. But I said, before you go there, pop it up a level. What's really true? What's moving in you? What's the vision that you're beginning to see about your life? And it's not going to happen, tomorrow. It's going to happen over time. So what processes are you willing to put in place to feed that opening, like the sprouting of a new vision? So let's move on to the final archetype in this eclipse matrix, and that is the dark goddess. I mean, after all, she is the eclipse. She wants to take you from unconsciousness to consciousness, from darkness into light. She goes into the dark places with you, and she finds the stuff that's putrid, that has been decaying, that is disgusting. And she goes in there like a wound that's been abscessing, and she cleans it out. She's like, no more. We're not going to let that wound fester anymore. If there's a grief that hasn't been felt, and really with big change, especially relationship change, grief is there. Pisces wants you to cry about it. You're going to dream about a lot of things, and you're going to cry about a lot of things. That's okay. And you can take some herbs from Medicine Woman. She'll support you. How do you support yourself Ask medicine woman, your inner medicine woman. So the dark goddess, she's wanting to know what you're over with. What are you sub-zero with? Like beyond over with. Now, it may turn out that it looks like it's a person or a behavior from a person, but I invite you to turn it first to over here. What are you over within yourself first? Like, how did you even get into that dance? What was it that in yourself that you have outgrown? Not to Monday night quarterback it like, oh, I should not have. No, you should have done whatever you did because that's perfect. But you're here now and you're growing and you have new information. And by the way, Mercury is coming in to support us with an understanding from the mind, from the message of what happened. What actually have we left behind? I think these things are not on the nose, like your relationship dissolving. If you look deeper at the patterns, that's going to support your future, not just getting rid of someone. How many times do people get rid of someone and they actually recreate the problem with the next person? I mean, second marriages have less of a success rate than first ones. So this is a call to action to dark goddess it, like go down, get inward, get really clear about the things that you are sub-zero about in yourself. You're going to want to do things that support your groundedness. Inside of Ayurveda, it's a lot of oiling. It's oil on the head. It's oil on the feet. It's routines. It's warm foods. If you're moving into spring in the Southern Hemisphere, then that's moving off the sluggishness of winter into spring. And those can be more rigorous cleansing. Here, we're really trying to nourish the body whole again. And so if you're getting addicted to the news and all the reactivity and the vomit that's happening, like at least in the United States, we got a lot of that happening in our presidential election, and a lot of people with a lot of opinions. It's so mental, it's reactive, that we get to take a break and tend to ourselves to empty out so that we can fill our cup as the phoenix rises, as we go to the ashes and we start to re-emerge. We fill our cup with the things that nourish us, the things that we want in our life, instead of the repeat and repeat of the past. That's really what's being called to be complete with. It's a big, tall order. It's going to take something. But here we are together, and here you are listening. So let's gather all the positive energy that we have created here and beam it out and say collectively, may all beings benefit from the merits of our efforts.